Welcome back to The Click. I'm Kurt.
Hey, I'm Ash, and I'm lucky to be joined here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Colin Jeffs. Introduce yourself.
Yo, what up? I'm Colin Jeffs. I am a filmmaker from the Gold Coast, primarily shooting music videos, not shooting anything at the moment. But yeah, music videos, weddings. What else do we do? Real estate. It's a mixed bag over here. So yeah.
Welcome on. We're stoked to have you here. We're going to obviously talk about all things creative and sort of find out a little bit about you. You obviously have your own company. What's that?
Yeah, shameless plug right here. Ten of Swords Media Collective. So yeah, this is us. These t-shirts are fresh off the press. We just got them in like half an hour ago. So
mine's hanging out the front.
I know we had to rep it. So but yeah, that's I've got a couple of brands, I suppose. Ten of Swords focuses primarily, I guess, on music videos and more of our, I don't want to use the word edgy, but a darker kind of content. Creative could be a good word for it. And then I've got Colin Jeffs Wedding Films, which that's our wedding thing. I think my website is Colin Jeffs Media, and that sort of encompasses the two brands. One day I'll wrap it under one umbrella, but for right now it's working. So.
Yeah, cool.
I think it's good to have the two different brands there, and that way you can potentially pitch to two different kinds of clients. Whether it be weddings and then the other one, or weddings and real estate, and then the other to be, that darker vibe that you do. Maybe talk us a little bit through how you started in videography and what kind of made you, pursue those two different avenues.
Well, it's kind of weird. So like you guys, like everyone here, I played in a band also. I don't know what it is. I think maybe band guys just know all other band guys. But yeah, I started in a band. After I finished up in my band, I was kind of bored. And yeah, I'd always been interested, as our band filmed music videos, we were in music videos, we were kind of, part of like a creative sort of community. And that was always an interest of mine. Whenever we were touring, I was always bringing the GoPro and trying to make kind of just fun stuff to watch, that was entertaining. I took about a year off doing anything creative, just did like normie kind of work, got super bored and was like, yo, I'm going to buy a camera. You sold me my first camera. So
yeah, I think for me, we had talked about music, obviously, because we met through music.
Yeah.
I was always petrified of you because you were the big tattooed guy in the whole band. But I think
I'm still petrified of it.
That's not true. I'm a lover.
And then we've obviously
lover, not a fighter.
Yeah.
We've obviously become like very good friends.
Yeah.
Since all that. But I kind of knew when you would show me stuff on your GoPro or like that you edited and cut together, I was like, oh, this guy's got a pretty good eye for it. And then you come in and you bought a camera off me, and I was like super interested to see where you go because you were just so involved in it. And I know Kurt's had this and I've had this where you buy this piece of equipment. It doesn't even matter like how good it is. You just get so immersed into it, and no one like you can never thank your first piece of equipment as much for defining what you like about it and how much you learn from it.
Yeah. I didn't do as much research back then as what I do now on product. And I went into JB Hi-Fi and you kind of said, yo, buy this camera. And I was just like, I took that word as gospel. I was like, this is the guy. It shot 4K video, and that was, when did I start? Like maybe a few years ago now, I guess.
Three plus maybe?
Yeah, three and a bit years ago. I bought that camera, and I just wanted to shoot with it. It went from the GoPro thing to then I bought a drone. I'm a nerd, so I love gadgets, I guess, and like a drone's a gadget. So you know, went from the GoPro to the drone, and then I got the Panasonic G7. It was the first camera I bought, and yeah, it just kept going. I was making like, you know, fun videos with my friends, like you guys, and a bunch of my other mates are really good photographers. So they would go out shooting and I would sort of tag along and make like a fun little video of the trip. And that was really therapeutic for me, I guess. And then people started saying, you know, it just kept going. Like a couple of local bands were like, hey, do you want to do a music video for us? Which I was terrified of doing. And I said, why not? You know, made a handful of my first music videos. You know, they're not fantastic by today's standards, but it was definitely a learning experience. And then pretty soon after, went into weddings. A friend of mine is a popular Gold Coast wedding photographer. So he was buddies with a guy who needed a second shooter. That guy, James Connell, his name was, and he actually taught me a lot of what I know about cameras and just settings and style and you know, how to shoot handheld and you know, angles and all sorts of things. So I owe that guy a huge debt to actually being able to do this stuff. But yeah, and it just kept going. That was probably when I started to get a little bit serious, maybe 2 years ago. And here we are.
Have you ever used a GoPro in a film clip?
Oh, a modern one, like a recent one.
Yeah, because if you started a GoPro, that means you would have been were you cutting together GoPro on the GoPro platform, like the app thing, or was it actually? Yeah, awesome.
No, I think I started. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called. The GoPro Studio, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I used to just load out, you know, the footage that I shot on tour into that, and I think it almost like automatically makes your video for you, which was cool. But then it became frustrating because I wanted more, you know, of my own.
Yeah, it didn't look the way that you wanted it to.
Yeah, so that's when we went into Premiere Pro, and I remember at the time it was so expensive to lease Premiere Pro. I think it was like $30 a month. And I was like, do I really want to do this for $30 a month?
Yeah.
Am I really that committed to making this happen?
Yeah.
I think it's like, for the whole suite, it's like 70. What is it, like 70?
76,
Yeah.
76 or something.
It's getting expensive.
But in saying that, or then what you obviously probably have a gym membership. How much is a gym membership? $20 a week, $25 a week.
Yeah, it must be something like that.
And you were struggling to justify the $30 a week when, you know, you spent essentially what is it? The $30 a month when you spent $100 a month on the gym.
It's true. I think when you're like, I was doing a different job then, and we were saving for a house deposit, and you know, we were penny pinching.
Yeah.
So
every dollar counts.
You know what it's like when you're saving up for either a holiday or a house deposit or whatever you're saving up for, a car maybe.
Or an engagement ring. Jeez.
That's inexpensive. I feel that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
like get an engagement ring, or do I buy 20 new cameras?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know what? I think probably like a lot of people at the start, I tried to use like a non-legitimate version of Premiere Pro, and that just sucked. That was I mean, I used to do
limitations and
and it's just such a pain, and then you can't update it, you don't have the latest stuff, and so I think I ended up saying, you know what, this is really what I want to do. I found like my next thing. I guess like the band was that was my thing for like a really long time, and then this sort of popped up, and it was the exact same. I know I've said to you before, it was the exact same creative energy that I put into my music. I put into this. It just kind of was that perfect thing for me. So I was like, here we are. We're going to make this work. So
I have a quick question, probably for all of us. But when did you know? Like, when did you know you were like, this is
that it was it?
I'm in. And this is cool, and I love doing this, and I can make a living out of it.
The living thing came later. Like the you know, this is gonna be my job or whatever. That came later. When I knew that I loved it, to be fair, it was very soon. I felt so comfortable like holding a camera and just filming and kind of just like being that guy, like getting the shot and getting the angle and kind of doing whatever it took to get that. I felt so comfortable. I reckon inside of maybe 3 or 4 weeks, like going out with a couple of my photographer mates, we went out, you know, like your typical, like we went to waterfalls, we went to the beach, you know, getting up, doing sunrise. Like I was getting out of bed before sunrise to set up and do time lapses. And I'm not a morning person. I'm a late night person. So for me to, you know, it sounds trivial, but for me to get up out of bed and be that excited and have that much energy to go down to the beach, where I've lived at the beach my whole life, but to set up a time lapse and be so excited to get it home and put it on the computer and just watch it, you know, I was like, this is me. I'm so comfortable. I'm so at home here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, what about you, Kurt? You've been doing this a little bit longer than us, so.
Yeah, the same kind of thing. I did the same thing. It was just, I bought the camera. I was so excited to use it. I thought it was the best thing in the world. It wasn't by any means a professional standard camera. It was just small and compact, and I bought a fisheye lens, which was just the most disgusting look you've ever seen.
It was the look,
but
though.
I just
like...
loved it. It was like 14 mil, and that's what I did as well. I just went. I actually used to do a lot of night photography because it was the only chance you get. You know, while you're at work during the day, you're just thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to get home tonight, so then I can go out and take some star shots," or definitely by the ocean. Because when I first started photography, I moved from Brisbane to the Gold Coast, and I just wanted to be at the beach. So I'd surf during the day or work, and then at night time I'd go to the beach because I was just so blown away by how cool the images looked when, you know, you left the shutter open for 30 seconds or a minute, you know, however long. And it was exciting. But as far as making it a career, I think I must have shot for maybe, I would say a year. And I had a full-time job, and then literally I didn't know whether I was going to make it a career or whatever, but all I know is I didn't want to do my full-time job anymore, and I just left it. So I had no clients, no plan, no savings, and then here I was just, it was just the passion that drove me to quit everything. But yeah, I don't even know how I survived that first 6 months of being a freelance without, you know, I picked up a couple of clients, but it wasn't really enough to,
yeah, you went in deep.
you know, save any money. Yeah, I
all
literally quit. And then for sure. And at the same time, Cara, my partner, she quit her job at the same time. So here we were, you know, she went to uni and then I quit my job as well. So here we were just, you know, $0 and no real game plan. It was a tough time.
Eating heaps of 2 minute noodles.
What about you, Ash? Oh man, I still cook 2 minute noodles.
Still on the 2 minute noodle diet.
Yeah.
You're a bit more of a slow burn, though.
I'm a slow burn. I'm probably the slowest burn out of the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I probably have a little bit more of a lax attitude to it because I'm probably in a more lucky position, I guess. But for me, I knew when I dropped to part-time because I was so miserable at my job that I was like, I need to do something with this. So that kind of drove me to create my portfolio. And then probably like 6 to 12 months in that sort of period after doing that, I was like, I could do this. I could make this a thing.
Yeah.
And like seeing Kurt, you know, make it a full-time job, meeting you and going out and shooting with you and seeing your passion, which like reignited me to do more.
Yeah, right.
I think like being surrounded by other creatives to push me to go, all right, hey, you have the you just need the self-belief to push yourself into that point.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like struggle with that. I think our industry is full of like people who have too much confidence and aren't very good at what they do, or don't have enough confidence and are amazing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, some of some of the best guys in the industry, some of the best guys who shoot music videos that I've met, some of the best in Australia, are plagued by, you know, confidence issues. You know, I've worked with some of these guys, and they're brilliant filmmakers. They're brilliant at what they do, but they struggle a lot with kind of accepting that their work's good. And it's, I guess that sucks. That's more of like a personality thing, though, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I've probably struggled with that a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think I, you know, don't put myself out there as being like this like overly confident, amazing photographer. I do think my work is, you know, very good.
You've gotten way better with that, though.
You got to be proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten so much better, because when even sort of like 18 months ago, I reckon you were kind of still like, oh, you know, is this any good or whatever. Now, like, you'll whip out your phone and you'll be like, yo, check this shot out. And because I think like that you've got more confidence out, like, you know what my reaction's going to be. I'm going to be like, that's a sick shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think, Ash, you are such a great example of someone who was just plodding away in it, and then you got really good at it. And now your confidence level is there. Whereas someone like me, who was pretty shit at it to start off with, I just had way too much confidence, you know, so that kind of got me across the line a lot quicker, I guess. Whereas if you had a bit more confidence, you might have been, you know, probably shooting the level that you are a year earlier, you know. Confidence is a big thing.
Yeah, no, I think confidence is key. And I think for me, it was just always a matter of like, what have I got to show until I've got something to show? And, you know, it's like anything with any creative outlet, I probably struggled with the idea of trying to create perfection as opposed to going out and then doing the best that I could, learning from that, and then implementing it into the next thing, and just constantly learn. And sometimes that's hard to see until you're looking back at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like in the arts that we do, all of us will always be able to say like, man, 12 months ago, if I'd done this clip, it would be so different. Or if I'd done this, it would be completely different.
This still happens with me now. I'll shoot clips. You know, I got a clip coming out that we sort of shot, you know, 6-7 months ago now. And whilst I still think it's a good clip, I look at the clips I'm producing right now as of like last week, and they look like they're 6 or 7 months further along in my filmmaking journey. So, you know, I get worried. I'm like, oh no, is this clip good enough? But I guess you're always going to be growing. Like, you're always going to be learning new things. Like, so
yeah.
I think it's also you are such. We're all our own worst critics, and for me, it's that inner voice for me that's always probably held me back a little bit more. In doing that.
You're definitely you're past that now. You're so far past that. You're killing it now.
Yeah, you don't need to doubt as much.
Yeah, you cannot be stopped now.
With working with other people and other creatives, you also understand what level they're at, what level you're at, and what you can kind of get away with when you shoot to either fix later, or, you know, it's not as big an issue as you think it is, because I feel like when you start shooting, you are just trying to create that perfection straight off the bat, and you don't understand what you can get away with because you just think, you look at all these other probably, you know, commercials or whatever you're looking at, advertisements on billboards, and you see the end result, but you don't understand that for what we're doing on a smaller scale, that isn't that huge scale, there's so much more that, you know, you can be happy with. You don't have to feel like it has to reinvent the wheel every time. You can output something that is at a good level and go to the next job, you know, because if you spend too much time weighing yourself down thinking, oh, the grade could be slightly better or this could be that, don't worry about it until the client tells you, hey, this is an issue, let's fix it. And then that's when you go, oh, okay,
it's good at damage control.
Yeah, let's fix it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I got guys.
But if you're 80% to 90% happy with it, I could bet that the client will be 100% happy.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I got guys that work for me that that have that problem right now that, you know, I'll send them out to go and shoot a job, whether it be a music video or a wedding or something like that. And, you know, they have, you know, confidence issues where they sort of say, oh, you know, this isn't as good as I'd like it to be, or, you know, I could have done better. And, you know, you think things after the fact. Like I do that as well. Like every clip that I shoot, I'm always looking at it in the edit and I'm like, you know, I screwed this up. This is something that I could improve on next time. But you got to understand as well that not every clip or video or wedding or whatever it is, not every single one is going to be a banger. Like there is a lot of like confounding variables that come into what makes a banger. And, you know, everyone wants to make bangers. Everyone wants to make bangers. Like that's what we want to do. But like sometimes there's things that you can't control. That might be the artist. The song might not be there. The band might not be very long, you know, far along in its path, and they might not be, you know, comfortable in front of a camera.
As experienced, exactly.
Weddings,
especially with your industry, Colin.
Yeah,
it's hard to make a band that is inexperienced look like they have experience.
100%. It's impossible, man.
And there's
you can do what you can do what you can. Like, there's definitely like a, you know, a style that I have to make things look more exciting when they're maybe not. But at the end of the day, you know, there's different levels, but it's the same as weddings. Like I find as well, like sometimes you'll go into a wedding and you're like, I want to make this a banger for whatever reason. You know, you're on that day and you're like, I want this to be the guy, you know, I want this to be the first one that pops up on my Vimeo. And no matter what you do, you just can't get it to happen. And it's related to, you know, the people. Like people might not like being filmed. Yeah, they want their wedding filmed overall and they want that memory, and that's great, but they might just not be that interactive with the camera. Like sometimes you'll get like a group of boys and it's super fun and, you know, it just works. And the girls are cool, the venue's awesome, the day's beautiful, everything comes together and, you know, that clip's a banger. Sometimes you just can't make that. Like no matter how hard you try to sort of get people to, like weddings for me are all about people. You know, like I film pretty much from the start of the day until everyone's, you know, going at the end. And it's like, it's all just about the people at weddings. And a lot of the time, you know, people don't want to get filmed. And like, I get that, like, that's totally cool, but that's what, you know, gives them their flavor. So it's, I don't know, like, that's what I say to guys that
try
shoot for
sticking
me.
a flash in, sticking a flash in people's faces at weddings. No one wants to get a photo.
Yeah.
It's only until about 10 o'clock at night when everyone's
Everyone's
drunk that they want the
wasted.
photo. But but just, you know, with speeches and all that kind of stuff, no one really wants a photo.
Do you get this with models?
It's an art form.
I think you guys have hit on a really good point. Like I really liked what Colin said, is like that people make that sort of situation, and probably
it's not their fault.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade at anyone. Like,
but I think in that sort of situation, like you look like in weddings, like you're looking for those natural moments, right?
100%.
For me, like when I'm shooting like street photography and doing sort of like a lookbook for a brand, I'm looking for those natural moments as well. Like I'm not looking for super posy stuff. I'm just looking to let them do their normal work. And Kurt will understand, and you will understand, is like when you work with someone who knows what they're doing in front of a camera, it is so different to having a good friend who knows that they look good. Like, and it streamlines.
I think that would be one of the hardest things for you, Ash, as well, because you deal with a lot of influencers who aren't actually models, so they probably don't have the experience or education on how to pose or be a model. You know, they're just fairly fit and they think, you do the work, Ash. But it must be, I'm going to say torture, like for me to, you know, it's like, you know, I would just be standing there being like, yeah, man, I understand what you're doing, but it's not looking that great. So how can we fix?
Do you say that to people?
Yeah, I'm pretty blunt as well. So I don't have much emotion. So usually I'm just like, it's not working. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing.
I love being direct on set.
So.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Yeah.
like, I kind of ignore the first like 15 minutes of my photo shoot
Yeah.
and go,
Yeah.
we're warming up. So it's a lot of time. It's for me, it's just, you're doing directing, and I spend a lot of time moving around my models. Like, so if they can't get in the position I want, I'm getting in that position,
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah,
on the
for
ground,
sure.
whether it's finding the right angle.
Agree.
And they probably don't see that as something that's like, oh, this is work. But that's what
Yeah.
I'll find what I need to get in that sort of instance. But
Do you reshoot the first style or second style again at the end, like once they've warmed up?
Sometimes I will. A lot of times I've got a pretty
sometimes I
good,
do.
I'll get a pretty good glimpse of like, all right, cool. This looks cool. That looks all right,
Yeah,
And then I've got a
it's
few,
working.
like my go-to would be to say, here's a semicircle, pretend you've got like a visual semicircle in front of you, and then shift your hips as opposed to, and maybe take a step into it as opposed to, trying to do anything like super posy. And then, like if you need to dust off your shirt or you need to, put your hands together, do the things that you would feel normal when you're just standing around anyway. So there's a tip.
Yeah, a bit
if
more
anyone,
natural.
if anybody's listening.
Yeah, or just watch that latest Michael Jordan thing on Netflix, and then you'll learn some moves off him.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny because with always with vocalists, whenever I'm doing music videos, I'll always do 3 takes with the vocalist first up, like more of a wide shot of the vocalist in the middle, 3 takes, and then I let them have a break. I always do my clips as 23 takes, whatever it is. That's the magic number. But I'll do the first 3 with the vocalist, then I make them go and sit down and just wait it out until I've shot the bulk of the rest of it. So our guitar players, our strings, drums, all of that sort of stuff. And then I'll bring the vocalist back in at the end for another 3 or 4 takes, depending on how it is. Because I always find that, they perform all right in the first few takes. But then they go and sort of sit down, and then they sort of see the rest of the band kind of interacting and how the clip's going, and it builds their confidence up. And they're like, yo, this is looking sick. This looks fantastic. I can't wait to get back in there. And then I find when I bring them back in later, that's when you get the absolute, the best
energy,
performance. And, it gives it also the band, because the band's pretty tuckered out by then, especially the poor drummer because they make him be in everything. But when you bring the vocalist back in, the band kind of takes a back seat. They can just chill because everything's focused on your singer. And that's when you always get the usable takes. Like pretty much any clip that I do, it'll always be the later takes of when I bring the vocalist back in. That's all the usable stuff.
As you were a singer in a band.
Yeah.
Are you harshest?
How many clips was he in? How many clips were you in? Like yourself as the front man?
What music video? Full music videos.
Widow the Sea one?
Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe 3.
3.
You've got 3 at least
4,
on.
4. 4 music videos.
How many music videos had you shot this year?
This year, so 2020. What are we on? We've shot about maybe
20.
15. Maybe 15. I mean, if we hadn't got knocked out by Corona, we probably would have shot 30 by now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Are you harshest on the vocalist when as a former vocalist? So you go, man, pick up your game.
Yeah.
If I was like this, I'd be doing this.
I don't usually say if I was like this because a lot of the young bands that I do now don't even know my old band, which is cool, which is good.
Shut up, Grandpa.
Because I'm just some guy. So and I'm totally fine with being just some guy, right? Yeah. I'd rather them like me for the clips that I make than, he used to be in like an okay deathcore band. So, I mean, but yeah, I have to be, I'm always harsh on the members because like you got to sort of say, dude, like we need more, like what's going on?
Well, I mean, it's like anything. We probably never realized it when we were like in the thick of it in bands, but how lazy people are. Like I look at it now and go, man, how did I do that for so long?
Oh, dude, I have no idea how. I mean, Kurt still plays in a band. I have no idea.
He's probably the lazy guy in the band, right? Like,
I am. I'm the lazy
I
one.
think that he is
I
the
am.
lazy guy in the band, actually.
Yeah.
I think
Colin might have a story later on for you.
yeah, I think that
actually.
he is. Because I know the other guys in his band. And he's definitely the laziest dude. Because, funny side note, I shot a music video for Kurt's band. And I think I shot 2 for them, actually. The second one that we shot, I think Kurt rocked up for all of about, do you reckon it was an hour?
Yeah, it was max an hour.
I mean,
for sure.
we were shooting. Everyone else is there from the get-go. We're setting up. We're doing the shoot. Kurt rocks up. He's hours late, for starters. And I remember he just said, and it was the biggest power move that I've ever seen. I was like, if this dude was in my band, he'd be gone, for starters. But he rocked up and he was like, yo, I've got an hour and then I'm gone. So if you need me to be in anything, we're doing it right now. And I just thought,
drops the mic.
I was just like, this is sick. It's like, who rocks up and says that? So we shot all of the band, the full band stuff in that hour. And then, yeah, true to form, Kurt was gone. And that was that. And I thought, man, he must be the best fighter in this band, because no one said anything. And everyone was just like, all right, we've got to keep Kurt happy.
Nice.
Okay, so what were you doing before you started videography? You were in a band, or you were in a couple of bands, but do you have a trade, or did you study? What did you do?
Yeah, so I had a trade. I'm an electrician. 10, 11 years.
Has that helped?
Yes.
Has that helped?
That's been such a huge
to understand
thing.
lighting, or
Yeah, that's been such a huge thing with kind of everything that I do with video, because most stuff that I do with video is very stylized. Lighting setups and all that sort of stuff. And even like a lot of the early clips, before I could afford to buy good lighting equipment, I was building it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of the early clips, I was making, I might have seen something on YouTube and that particular light might have been worth, $1,000 or $1,500.
too much money?
Yeah, and
exactly,
at the time, like I couldn't afford to buy that sort of stuff. So I was like, yo, I'm going to build this. Like I'm going to buy stuff from Bunnings. I'm going to pull it apart. I'm going to rewire it, and I'm going to turn it into, something else.
Make it work.
So the electrical thing really came in handy. I still use it these days to make kind of wacky things for the videos. And just having a really good understanding. Like we did like lighting design for years and years. So how to make rooms look good with lights. And as LEDs started to come in,
That's so
everything's
cool.
LEDs these days. But I guess Sparkies were kind of at the forefront of like LED technology, because it's just everything that we started to install. So I didn't really think much of it, but looking back on it now, it was a huge beneficial thing in my filmmaking journey was my trade. Yeah. So, I mean, you couldn't pay me to crawl through a roof now to install lights. Actually, my friend tried to pay me just the other day, and I was like, get an electrician, because, I'm too big to get in a roof now, man. But yeah, that's, it's a cool thing. It was a good trade. I'm super grateful for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that is the thing, that you have such a good understanding of lighting. It's visible in all of your work, whether it be the grading or whether it be the actual lighting for the scene. It's super impressive, and I think it rules. So
cheers, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's by far your biggest asset. Like there is and I've been on set with you, I've been around your work, I've been around a lot of other videographers, and by far, and like photographers, like, I mean, shit, I'll be the first one to say, I got no idea about lighting.
You're pretty hard on yourself with that.
But I mean, just spending that time with you gives me better idea of what I'm doing. But that is by far your biggest asset, because the knowledge from that is just like, it's just so important when it comes to everything that we do as creatives.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, lighting for me was just it's my favorite thing about cameras. Yeah, I mean it was as soon as I started shooting, I bought lights from Bunnings. I was buying LEDs, all of that sort of stuff. And it's just always been my favorite thing, like how I can sort of like make something look cool with cool lights, like, or color, or effect lighting, or haze, or whatever it might be. It's
So speaking about favorite things, what would be your three favorite things that you have within your setup,
equipment.
like gear wise? Yeah.
I don't even know.
Or maybe three underrated things that you own, because I know you as the dude with all the gear. So it's from when you started or to up to now, you have invested a lot of time and money into gear. Like you have a lot more gear than most people. So yeah, what would be the three top pieces of equipment that you
my top pieces of
had?
equipment. It's kind of hard because you're always going to like the newest piece of gear that you've
Current
got.
thing?
Yeah. I think it sounds funny, but and it's kind of boring, so sorry, but having a really big, good quality softbox. I know that's such a boring number one, but it's kind of the cornerstone to any good lighting setup is good quality soft light on your subject.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of my looks and everything that I do is built on having a really good soft light source. After that, you can kind of do anything else that you want. But that for me, like as soon as I get to set, as soon as I get anywhere, even when we're doing weddings, like I'm looking for, I could get into a wedding and those sheer white curtains that pull across like a big window. As soon as I see those, I get so excited, and it's a ridiculous thing to get excited about. But that you're going to be able to use that big sheer curtain to diffuse the light coming through the window, and you're going to be able to get beautiful shots of your bride. And just that big, soft light source, I get excited about that. Sorry that it's boring, but
that's not boring.
I know.
It's something that people need to know.
So that another cool piece of tech, a little bit newer, maybe 6 months old, is I started using the Atomos monitors, and that was a bit of a game changer for me, because being able to see a sharp image of what I was filming and being able to put a LUT or a color, even if it's not a final color that I'll end up using in my video, but it really put me in the scene a lot more. Because when I was looking at the tiny little screen at the back of your camera, the peaking is really hard to see. It's hard to see what's in focus, and it doesn't really put you in the scene. So having that bigger monitor with a sharp image, you can see exactly what's in focus, having the peaking, having all like your assist functions, and having like your LUTs and your colors and stuff that you like to look at, really gets you more excited, and also your client, so your band or your brand, if I'm working with a real estate agent, anyone that I've got on set who sort of says, yo, can I have a look at that? When you show them like, S-log footage or ungraded footage on the back of your camera, it's so underwhelming.
It looks terrible
to look upon.
They don't understand.
But when you show a band something that has a color, it gets them amped, and it changes the whole vibe on set. No matter what you're shooting, as soon as you show that to your client or someone and they see that, it makes them excited and it makes them more confident, because they're like, yo, this looks, usually it looks way better than what they're expecting. Yeah. Whereas if they see S-log footage on this tiny little screen, they're kind of like, yeah, it looks all right, but it doesn't make them excited. And I think so that's a really big one for me. Makes me excited too. I want to have fun when I'm shooting. I want to look at an image and go, this looks sick. I cannot wait to get home and cut this up.
Underrated tip is yourself as the person creating being excited about what you are doing.
Yeah.
100%. Because I feel like if I'm excited about what I'm seeing in the camera, like my models, they get instantly way more into it, which means 100% they're doing way more at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a third piece of gear. Oh, I don't want to give you something boring. Like a really solid carry bag for lights.
Oh, that's still good. Honestly, I'm listening and I'm learning at the same time. I don't shoot with LUTs, so give me some LUTs and I'll do that from now on.
Yeah.
What is the biggest light source that you have? 120, 150? Is it an
it's
octa?
actually not that big. I do have I've got a 140 softbox, which was my guy, but I've shot like maybe 50, 60 clips with it now, and it's had a hard life.
Pretty trashed.
So I'm using the aperture boxes now, which are cool. They're not as big, but they're really convenient. They're super convenient. They're awesome.
Easy to pop up.
So yeah, easy to pop up, easy to pack down. They come with bags. They're tough.
When I discovered,
it's all good news.
Yeah, when I discovered the soft boxes that just went up like an umbrella, that literally changed my life. Because I would have to get to a shoot like 20 minutes, 25 minutes earlier because I was setting up these
horrible,
stupid soft boxes, one pole at a time. And it's like, why were these even invented like this? Just make the umbrella thing.
I guess they're invented to be set up one time and left in a studio. And for that purpose,
and just leave
sweet.
It. Yeah.
But
that's great.
If you're moving around...
I do have I know you're struggling for a third item, but maybe you can flip the switch on this one. But what's the worst item you've ever had? There
we go. I remember some slider that you had.
Yeah. All right. By far, the
whinged
worst,
about for months. Oh.
By far the worst piece of gear that I've ever bought on my filmmaking journey is the Syrup freaking magic carpet motion control heap of shit slider.
Yeah.
No good. See, I think the problem with that, like it never worked. I bought it. It never worked. I went back and forth to this company for like 6 months. They sent me another one. It didn't work. It ended up coming down to being a problem with the app. I have an Android phone, and we went backwards and forwards for so long, and they were just kind of like, oh, well, like, listen, it's Android's problem. And I was like, you can't, after 6 months, say that this is a problem with your phone. I mean, the biggest problem with that was when I started this, I didn't have a lot of money to invest into gear. And I wanted to take my productions to the next level. I liked doing time lapses. I liked doing time lapses at weddings. That was fun for me. And so I was like, I took the plunge. This was a $3,500 piece of equipment. For me, who was saving like $200, $300 a week, this was an enormous investment for me.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and it sort of rocked up, and I was so excited to use this piece of gear. Everyone on YouTube said it was fantastic. I later found out they were, of course, paid reviews. They lied.
Liars.
And I just got really badly screwed over by this company. It cost thousands of dollars. I've still got it. I wouldn't give it to my worst enemy. People have asked to buy it off me. And I tell people, I'm like, I don't hate you enough to sell you this piece of equipment, even for $50. Like it was so badly made. Out of everything that I've bought some bad gear. Like I've got some bad gear. But this was by far the worst thing that I ever bought. And I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of sleep. I lost a lot of time. I've since bought a Rhino slider. Fantastic. Works every time. Connects to my phone. Cost half the price and is fantastic. And I just sort of thought, I mean, at the time I was umming and ahhing about Rhino and Syrup. And the Rhino one was like an extra $500, and that was a lot of money. Like, that's still a lot of money, but for me then, that was weeks and weeks of savings. But I bought the Syrup, and I I still regret it. I'm never going to get back that time or that money. So yeah, if you ever watch this
And
video,
I will
Sarah,
remind you for the rest of your life about that.
oh
Just to
man,
feel good about myself.
man, I just still dream about it, man. It haunts me.
Ash, what is your favorite piece of equipment in your bag? And following your trend, what is the worst piece of equipment in your bag?
My favorite piece of equipment, I'm probably biased just because it's my newest thing, but my 35 1.4, the Sigma Art. I probably said it the last week and the week before that, but that
You've been saying it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like, it's great to shoot video on.
It's great.
It looks great in photography. Yeah, I think it's unreal. As for what my worst piece of equipment that's in my bag, probably my 24-70 f4, because f4 lenses, like apart from maybe the 24-105 that you own, just shouldn't be a thing.
I mean,
for sure.
I'm shooting
especially that one
right now.
Yeah,
but,
my one is like so obnoxiously bad. Like, but you know, that's because it was the first thing I bought. But yeah, probably that. What about yourself? Favorite item and least favorite?
I did own that 24-70 a while ago, and I shot a couple of times with it. And when I noticed how crappy it was, it just wasn't up to par with any of the Sigma Art that I had. So I had to get rid of it. But the crappiest thing in my bag at the moment, not sure. I don't really like anything that the battery life doesn't last long, whether it's a recorder or for your screen or whatever it is. Just hate it. I just want the battery to last forever and not have to change it as much. Like at the moment, I'm just running my Atomos monitor with one of the adapter things that they got, and then it's plugged into the wall. So I don't have to change batteries, don't have to worry about it.
I should do that, actually. That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. But the best item in my bag, probably, I'm going to say my SD card. I got an SD card of Sony, thing. Which was, yeah, exactly. It's boring, but it's a 256 gig SD card. Can't remember the speed, but it's one of Sony's newest ones. And I don't know, you're meant to be able to put it through the wash and it still works. And it's just apparently... It's great.
That's cool.
It's meant to be indestructible pretty much, and just the amount of footage I can load onto it and be comfortable that it's not going to fail. That's what I enjoy. Whereas usually I was shooting with 32 gig cards, and then my camera specs got better, and then I was shooting with a 64 gig card. And with weddings, I would shoot 64 gig and then quickly back it up quickly and then just leave the card there, shoot with a new card. So I had a bunch of different sources from the wedding day. So that way, if I lost one card, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of trust this Sony, so I could shoot all day on it and then not have to worry or, be disappointed that something's going to happen to it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Boring, but good SD card. Honestly, it's worth the money.
All the little boring things that we use make up kind of like they're the stuff that saves us the most hassle. Like I use this right now. We've got a few different audio sources here, but like this lapel system is the Tascam DR10L, and when I started using these, like I tried so many Roadlink dropping out, awesome. I tried all different sorts of lapel systems, all different sorts of like on-camera mic solutions, Zoom recorders and stuff. And whilst I still use a handful of those things, the Tascam DR10L, when I started using that, the biggest thing with that, and it sounds so trivial, but it records 2 audio tracks. So whatever you set it at, it'll record that decibel level, and then it'll record one either 6 or 12 decibels lower. And like, to someone who doesn't do audio, that's kind of like not a big deal. But for me, that was the biggest deal. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this thing exists. I just put it on auto level. And I know like on auto level, it does such a good job of like leveling anyone's voice. And then even if they do for some reason decide to start screaming, it has another track that's 12 decibels. It has a limiter. Quieter.
Doesn't it have a limiter?
It has a limiter, yeah. Which normally I wouldn't use that sort of stuff. but because it's so good in this system, it's just hard to like use anything else. I'm just like, this is like, I've
And
never
they're
had
about
bad
$300, aren't they?
Yeah, like 350
$300
bucks, which like, yeah, it's not super
so,
cheap, but being able to put this in someone's pocket and send them away, a real estate agent, a groom, you know, someone who's doing like a BTS video, someone who's doing like a talking head video, like wherever it is, not even have to look at the controller, just go record, put it in their pocket and send it away, and never, after hundreds of years, never have a bad audio clip, never have a clipping issue. It's just like, what, like, what sort of like sacrifice did they have to do to like make this controller? So, yeah, again, nerdy thing, but like, man, I love it.
Yeah. So I got a couple of questions. We'll try and wrap this up. What is the favorite thing in your office? I can see that there's a bit of lighting going on. I got the purple, you got the blue. I do love a bit of color in the background, but what would be your favorite thing? Would it be all those things in the background on the shelf?
I don't usually
Are they figurines? What's going on there?
I got lots of toys. I don't usually do the colors, but I was just trying to compete with your purple. So
you cannot compete.
We just chucked up a blue tube back there. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Lights that have LED lights that have batteries in them that last hours. So good. Favorite thing in my office. Yeah, I got a lot of toys. I got a lot of figurines. I'm a massive nerd for like, I don't know, anime, video games, like all that sort of crap. Yeah. So I got a lot of things. I don't know how much you can see them, but they're on my desk back there somewhere.
That chair looks pretty comfy too.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's my favorite thing in my office. This is the Secret Labs chair. This chair.
Is it a gaming chair?
It's not necessarily a gaming chair. It's like an office chair, but this cost an absolute fortune. And I ummed and ahed about this for so long because I was like, this thing cannot be worth the money that they're asking for it. But
X amount, yeah.
Of course, every single website, it didn't matter what you were looking for, was like, you have to, like Secret Labs was just the number one chair.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and bought it, and it's definitely one of the best things in my office is this chair because it's so comfy and I have to spend so much time in it.
What about you, Ash?
Man, that's such a boring response.
What's the number one thing in your office?
I want to give us something exciting, Ash, because my responses have been real boring. Like, yo, my chair.
Probably my Yui Boom.
That's cool. That's cool.
Like, you know, throwing on a podcast or just listening to some music. I actually don't listen too much while I edit, which I think is a super weird thing because if I'm doing video, I'm obviously listening to the video. And photography, I often sit in silence, but I've been
why?
I don't know. I just do. But recently, I've gotten back into like listening to albums and just been throwing on some stuff. So
albums start to finish or random order?
Start to finish. I prefer.
That's so good.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't find a playlist generally that like totally speaks to me, and I think just trying to find an album that really speaks to you from start to finish is a big thing. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean it's a underrated item that I think is super important to creating vibe and creating a mood.
I can't listen to music because I do video, so I'm always listening to audio. I've tried to actually edit video while listening to another audio source. If I'm just doing like boring selects, like if I'm going through and I'm just pulling out all of my selects and usable footage, you can sort of get away with it. But when you put your timeline together. Yeah.
And also another question, last question from me, and then Ash, you can have a few. Do you have a work uniform? I noticed that you are wearing
the new merch.
Yeah. And do you think that it's useful? Do you think that people notice, or what's the go? What's your thoughts?
Man, we don't really have a work uniform. I mean, yeah, like we got these printed up. I probably got like 5 or 6 guys that I work with regularly, and an editor that I work with. So I just kind of give that out to, the guys that work with me and girls that work with me, just because it's a little bit fun, and it makes it kind of like a little bit fun to sort of rock up to do a shoot as a little bit of a unit. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
real fast on that, but I do think that the people that work for me, when you give them like a cool, new shirt, they get a little bit of a kick out of it. I've had to wear work
Yeah,
uniforms
man.
forever, like crappy polo shirts, and
Yeah.
and then it's not that fun. But to get like a like a nice
I like polo
printed.
shirts.
I know you like polo shirts, but I had to wear
Jokes.
polo shirts as an electrician, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
Sounds like the dream. Sign me up.
Yeah, but it wasn't like you will go out and you'll probably buy your nice polo branded polo shirt, or like a particular brand of
Yeah.
polo shirt that you like, that fits good and you feel good in that
Yep.
shirt. You're not going and buying like some crappy Kmart one that wears like a midriff. So
Yeah.
the difference is, if someone like gives you like a rad printed shirt, you kind of feel, I think it's sort of, you're like, yo, we're on now, like we're sort of, we're on set, we look cool, we got our merch, we got our good gear.
I think that's a great idea and great mentality to have, to encourage, not maybe encourage is the wrong word, but to get your crew on board. If I got a
You
shirt,
feel like a unit.
if I was working with someone, I'd be like, oh man, I'm wearing the shirt every time we go to work, and yeah, you feel a part of the team. And I feel like that's awesome to make everyone feel included, no matter where they are within your business or what position they have.
Yeah. And at any one time, I'll only be usually working with like one or two guys. So it'll be like a three person team. But yeah, it's I like them to, like they always wear their stuff, and the shirts are kind of cool. Like the shirts are kind of cool. So it's sort of, it's
Did you
sort
have a
of fun.
designer do that for you?
We've got a couple of different ones now. We've got here you go. We've got like these new ones that I actually got printed, that I got kind of like a band shirt, like a band logo.
It's probably your old band.
Yeah, probably my old
I
band's
can't
logo.
remember
I
that.
just repurposed it for
Yeah.
my new
Yeah,
merch.
yeah, you paid for it once, so
but those ones I got printed up just for fun, to be honest, and I was selling them online. We got a handful of them printed up. That if people wanted to support the brand, if people wanted to support the business and the look, Ten of Swords has a little bit of a look online that's kind of cool, and it kind of goes with our branding, and into like pretty much all of the videos that we do, they all have like a an aesthetic that they kind of fit within.
Yeah.
So yeah, putting that on shirts, and we sold heaps of them. Like people kind of liked it, so that was really cool. I'm super appreciative of that. With the normie shirts that we do, they more just have like just a basic print, and they have like a visual production crew print on the back, and it's cool rocking up to set, and artists and people, whoever is there, they kind of know like these are the guys doing the video. Like you said, everyone feels included, and I like the people that I work with. They're my friends. Like I love all the people that I work with on projects. Our editors, people that do editing for me, people that shoot for me. I'm super appreciative of everyone, and it's cool. It's good to have like a little crew.
Yeah. Ash, do you wear a work uniform, or do you wear hidden? What's the go?
Shameless plug.
Not really. You have a lot of style.
Yeah, you are about.
I literally wear. I think I've been wearing Ash's hidden brand since he probably started it. It's literally the only shirts that I wear. Kara's probably sick of me wearing them, and I just wear them to death too. Like the black is not black anymore; it's just faded
It's
as.
vintage though. It's vintage.
Well, yeah, now it's vintage, but they just fit so well, and they last forever. So
yeah, cool.
do you wear that kind of stuff?
You got too much swag to
work,
wear a
or-
uniform, actually.
I'm pretty lucky. Like
I know.
I don't really have like to really turn up and have to wear a uniform for anything. Anytime that like you or like Kurt put me on to do something, I always feel like, well, probably not so much with you. I just turn up in whatever. But like Kurt, I'm always like, I should probably turn up in something other than a t-shirt. So I don't know. I think like uniforms for me, like I've done it. I've worked for companies and had to wear a uniform. Like I think there's no problem with it. Like I guess like if anything that I'm jaded about it is like that people who don't actually like their company is solely themselves and they are the only person, and then they have like a team like idea behind it. Like if I was to have a company and I'm the only person who works for that company and I have a work uniform, I kind of feel a little bit jaded about that.
You don't think that it puts you in work mode when you put on?
I mean, it's different for me because I feel very self-motivated in a sense.
That's cool.
But like, I feel like if you were to you classify yourself as like a media collective, like you work with lots of different people in those groups, right? Yeah. If you're the only person that's doing that, I feel like calling yourself a collective, you're not really.
Or a production team shirt, and then it's just you.
Just the one dude. Yeah, I guess
jaded old fashioned guy here. So like,
I understand that.
I think you got to like on the other side of that coin, though. I think if you call yourself a media collective or a production crew or whatever. You kind of got to start somewhere, and like if that's your aspiration, maybe like kind of embodying that idea early on, kind of will propel you towards like your end goal. There's another flip side. Not taking anything away from what you said. But
like I said, I'm a jaded old man, so it's fine. I mean,
but also not everyone has the fashion sense of you. So it's like they got to find something to wear. They can't just pick anything in their cupboard to look like you.
Well, I turn up and sometimes people think I'm a model because I'm so swaggy.
Because you're so handsome, actually. Because you're so handsome.
No, not at all. But no, I don't really have much experience with uniform stuff. I don't really think much about it. I think for me, it's all about comfort and freedom and just being able to express that.
Yeah,
100%, dude. Comfort's a big thing. Like my first wedding that I ever shot, I wore leather shoes. And I was like, you know what? I button-up shirt. I wore like nice pants, black pants, and I wore leather shoes. And I can tell you right now, I did it one time. The first wedding I did, I wore leather shoes.
Yeah.
And then after that, I wear Adidas Ultra Boosts. And there is a reason for that. And you know what? I know what no bride has ever said to me, yo, like, what's with your like shoes, man? Because you got to be comfortable. For me to like, I'm on my feet all day. Like I'm constantly moving around. You got to be comfortable. Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about being comfortable in what you work in.
Yeah,
you're definitely going to do a better job.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So we will wrap it up, even though I said we were going to earlier. We've put the word out to the street and asked just a couple of questions. We have been asked a couple of questions from people. So the first one I got is from Kyle Osmond, and he said, how do you approach a video shoot? Do you plan your footage, plan your B-roll, and what kind of editing process do you use?
Cool.
So this goes for all of us, I guess, but mainly for Colin.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you my answer right away. I don't do any planning. I have no idea. A mood board's probably my.
Do you storyboard things?
For me, for my, for music videos, depending on what it is. If it's just a straight performance clip, not really. I've kind of got performance down. I have a process that I've done many times, and I know the shots that we need. I know how I need people to move and how I need that to look. Yeah. So if it's strictly a performance video, not really. Having a cool location is good. And if the band has a specific look that they want to go for, like if they've seen a video that they like, then I'll usually pull influence from that. A lot of the bands that I do these days, the references that they give me are actually clips that I've shot in the past. They're like, we liked this particular clip, we want to go with something that looks a little bit like this. So, that of course makes it easy because I have all that equipment. I own all that equipment. If it's going to be have like some B-roll cutaway stuff, I usually work with the band on that, and we'll work with like what the song's about, and we'll go, okay. All of my clips have a very abstract nature to them. I don't do like the kind of like A to B storytelling.
Storyline,
Yeah, I do it if I'm asked to do it, but usually I'll sort of try to make it a little bit more quirky than like an A to B story, just because I like kind of quirky visuals, and it's where I feel comfortable making visuals. So if a band sort of says, "Hey, we've got this this story about this guy and he's doing this thing," I'm like, okay, cool. What if we added blood to that?
Scrap that.
What if we added something else to that to make it weird?
Exactly.
So I'll do that and plan.
And then what editing software do you use?
Premiere Pro. Sorry, super boring answer. Premiere Pro. After Effects for
I thought you used Final Cut for some reason.
No, I don't. I don't have a Mac.
Well, that's good.
Is Final Cut a Mac program? I have a PC, so.
Not sure.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's an Apple product.
Yeah.
I'm still on iMovie.
There you go.
You're on iMovie? I've never
I'm
used
still
Final
on
Cut
GoPro.
before. I got nothing against Final Cut. The very first thing that I used after GoPro Studio was Premiere Pro, and we're still there. So a lot of people say you should be doing color grading in DaVinci Resolve. That's something
DaVinci. I was just about to ask you. Yeah,
I want to look into that. Again, that sounds...
Okay, how about we learn together? We can do a 10-week straight up course.
It looks really good. I would like to push into that. It's on a long list of things that I have to learn. So
exactly. All right. What about you, Ash? Do you plan? So you don't really storyboard things. B-roll is kind of just on the go, or
yeah. For video, it's a lot of my stuff is like just super there and then at moment stuff. I mean, for photography, for me, like for a lookbook, it's very much mood board inspired for me. I want to see what the brand is trying to like get across, what their story is, and try and capture all that.
You need that.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, the same as you, Colin. I get a lot of people who started just referencing my photos, and they're just like, we want this. And it's like, okay, cool. Find a similar location, do something. I think location is massively important and super underrated. And for me, it's all about like, I just find real simplicity in like locations, whether it's a white wall, concrete, what it is. I feel like that just gives so much more to who I'm working with, as long as the models, usually average to good.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I was having like a bit of a crisis recently where bands would reference clips that I'd already shot. And I was worried that I was like, but I've already shot that clip. So, let's do a different clip. And whilst I still do that, I started to like become a little bit more comfortable in the fact that, like models referencing your photos is like, that's your style. Like, if I want to get, a photorealistic tattoo, I'm going to go to a guy who does photorealistic tattoos. I'm not going to go to a guy who does like, traditional style tattoos, 100%. Right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's something that sort of took a little minute to get comfortable in was, like I have a style, I have a look. It's what I do well. It's what I like doing. And if someone references that, I can't be too dark on them because they've seen it, they've liked it, and they've gone, yo, I really think that our particular song will suit a video that moves like this. Yeah. So I guess it's kind of flattering for you as well. Like if someone was to send you a photo that was, like if someone was to ask you to do like wedding photos or like baby photos, like when the lady's pregnant and do that, and you'd kind of be like, yo, have you seen my portfolio? Have you seen what I do? It's almost kind of like a little bit offensive to be asked to do something that's so far outside of what you actually do. And I've had bands just recently, big bands, a couple of big bands hit me up and said, hey, can you do this clip that's like this spellbinding journey about like this boy and going across the land and like doing this thing. There's no performance. It's this real, bizarre concept. And I was sort of just like, this is not what I do. Like, have you seen my portfolio? This is kind of what I do. And whilst, I'd like to, expand upon that, small steps, like baby steps, right? Like I don't want to go from...
But you also have to understand that a lot of the time the client actually doesn't understand that. They don't know why they like your clip. They don't understand that it is your style.
Okay.
It's same as getting a tattoo. When I first started getting tattoos, all of these crappy tattoos, I went to an artist because I was like, oh yeah, I don't know, she's in the city. I work in the city. I don't really know what style she does.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Okay.
And they didn't turn out the way I wanted. It was only years later when I'd accumulated more tattoos and that I actually become friends with a good tattooist that I understood the difference between what I wanted and what I got to start off with.
Yeah,
So
that's a fair point.
I feel like if I was coming to you as an artist, not really as a musician, not knowing how film clips work or what's involved or even what style is, all I knew is I liked your clips, then yeah, they would just, people reach out and they don't actually understand that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too offended. Just people have different understandings of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I get asked
So,
about
yeah.
weddings a lot, and
Yeah.
I've never shot a wedding.
Yeah.
Never have any intention of shooting a
Yeah,
wedding.
you don't want to shoot a wedding.
No,
You don't even like going to
No, I
weddings.
don't like going to weddings. But like, it's just one of those things. Like, because Ash is a photographer.
Yeah.
Let's
okay. It's a
ask
fair.
him.
It's,
So,
I guess it,
Yeah.
I think we've spent so long learning about everything that now looking at it, we can really niche what we like to do.
Yeah.
Like for you, music video clips with your stylistic sort of preference. Kurt, like shooting golf. Like,
Yeah.
and for me, it's like just streetwear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
we've spent so long going, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. And now we're in that flip position where it's like, you know what? That's not really my thing.
Yeah.
Which is such a weird
Yeah.
change for us.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's also good to, now that we are at that stage, if there's something that necessarily I might not have the style to shoot, then I will just refer them to another creative, someone that I know and I can trust.
I do that, yeah.
And that is probably more likened to what the client actually wants. So,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to do that. If it doesn't worry me about trying to make every dollar anymore. It's more, okay, well, I can't do that, or it's not really the style for me. So someone else will be better off doing it.
There is that also the thing that comes up where someone will show you someone else's product that is super expensive, someone else's video that's super expensive, and they've got your price list, and they sort of go, okay, well, we want to make this $20,000 video for we want to make this for $2,000, and you're sort of like, well, you're better off getting the $20,000 guy because that's your vision. They're like, yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
we just don't want to pay that. So that's a little bit sneaky as well. So
yeah. Okay, Ash, you got some questions?
I got a couple of ones I put out the post as well. So probably going off the previous video question that you had before, Kurt. Where is a good place to start learning how to edit videos? That was from Nordine. I hope I said that right. But you got any? I mean, you're self-taught. You didn't go to a school. You got any tips and tricks as to like where you should start?
I just started. You just have to start.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people get caught up with is trying to be, as good as that guy over there, who does all this. I think that you just have to start and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And with me, when I started, I was pretty terrible, but I kind of set myself a goal, which was to learn as small as it seemed, one thing per day. And this is when I first bought my new editing computer, which was a big investment for me, but I felt like I couldn't edit on my old PC. It was a very old PC, and it could barely render. I was waiting, for renders overnight and stuff like that. So what I did was I just said, I'm going to try and learn one small thing every day, whether that's watching something on YouTube, an effect, but even just basic things. You don't have to try to learn this enormous complex effect to do on your video. Just learn how to do keyboard shortcuts or set up your timeline, just the most basic mundane tasks. Again, as they might seem boring and far from where you want to be, but if you learn one small thing every day, at the end of the year, you've learned 360, how many?
Whatever it
365.
is,
There's 365
52.
days in a year.
42,
Yeah.
43.
So, you know, by that time, you've learned all of these little things that create the bigger picture, and you're going to be better. And then you can sort of go, all right, well, now that we've learned like a lot of the basics, let's set ourselves some more difficult things that, of course, are going to take more time. But, you know, today I'm going to learn, like, it's my Saturday, and I'm going to learn how to do this video effect.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to watch all these videos on it. I'm going to practice. And by the end of the day, chances are you're going to know how to do that. So, yeah.
For sure. All right, cool. I'll do a couple of quick fire questions in terms of just some current things in terms of what's been happening. Obviously, with COVID happening, I've probably spent a little bit too much time on Netflix and Disney Plus and Stan and all of the streaming services. But anyone got a good recommendation?
On Netflix?
Yeah.
I actually watched one of your videos a little while ago, and you recommended Star Trek Discovery. And I've never watched Star Trek before, but you were so excited about it. And you really sold it. You were like, you don't need to be into Star Trek to watch this show. And I was like, well, that's good because I'm not into Star Trek. But you know what? I started watching that, and I think it's really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Star Trek Discovery. Kurt, you got something for Netflix or whatever your streaming devices?
Definitely. Netflix, you need to watch Daredevil, the Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
From start to
For
finish.
sure.
Literally, stop what you're doing for a month or however long
Yeah.
it takes. It is so cinematic. The storyline rules. I've been a big fan of Daredevil for a while, you know, since the earlier stuff with Ben Affleck, which was pretty terrible in comparison.
In comparison, yeah.
This, dude, just watch it.
They nailed that show.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic show.
What about you?
For me, probably I was late onto this, and it actually stopped because I was so kind of like unsure about it. But Mindhunter, for me,
man,
it just
were you late on that?
I was late on that,
Bro. That's have you seen that one, Kurt?
I've watched half an hour and it was a bit too intense, and I was like, well, that's for a later date when I have like the mental capacity to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you kind of have to be prepared for and be immersed in, and it is a little bit of a slow burn, but when you finally get to that downhill, you are skyrocketing to the end of that. And it's
that's good.
Yeah, I'm just, that show is just such, it's filmed well. The time period
dialogue
that it's
heavy.
in, it's unreal. And just the use of audio, the sounds and everything in that is really well. So that would probably be my recommendation for
Have you guys seen Ozark?
Not yet.
It's a good one
late
too.
on that one too.
I started watching that recently as well, and that was also very intense.
It's also intense. If you got half an hour into Mindhunter, you probably got half an hour into Ozark as well. That's another.
I think
good
I got
one,
3 episodes deep.
Yeah.
On top of that, obviously that's the Netflix recommendation. Are you guys listening to anything currently? Is there anything that's on the old music player that's you guys can recommend?
Man, that's tough. I don't really know what I've been listening to lately. I just listen to old music, dude. Like I listen to old new metal. I listen to old metal from when I was young, when I was in bands. So it's kind of tricky for me. Kurt, go. I'll have a quick think. I'll have a think of what I've been listening to.
So I've recently discovered a band called The Evening. I'm not sure if they're a band or if it's just a guy and a girl, but they recently did a song, like an 80s song, with a drummer by the name of Luke Holland, he's phenomenal, but he features in this song, and that's the song that got me into listening to them. So I've just listened to their catalog. It's not very extensive at the moment, but it's about 6 or 8 tracks on Spotify, and The Evening. You need to listen. It's my kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that band is that's Taylor Larson, who is a record producer who's done Periphery and a couple of other.
No way.
Yeah.
Right.
And his partner is the female vocalist. Used to have a male vocalist actually as well.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'll
very
check it out.
Very cool band. Yeah, 100%. I've actually been thumping the new Dream on Dreamer album. That was released a couple of weeks ago. You did their film clip.
Yep.
And that's by no coincidence that I'm talking about them. But I think that is it's a really great album. It's sad that it is their last album. For the time being.
Really good
But
songs.
yeah,
Really good
I
songs.
really have been enjoying that. And probably the new DaBaby album, which just is sick. He's probably the hottest rapper right now.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really tricky. I get roped into listening to a lot of the bands that I film.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I film these bands. I have to listen to these songs a million times when I edit the videos together, and 9 times out of 10, by the end, I'm a huge fan of the band. It happened with your band, Kurt.
Hey, there we go.
Your band wasn't
That's
on my
nice.
radar at all until I started filming you, and I became a huge fan after that. Right
That's
now
cool.
on these 2 screens, we've got 2 editing stations here. We've got 2 clips for Diamond Construct that are coming out, and I will give them a plug that the new music coming out from these guys is some of the most exciting music that I've heard in almost the entire time I've been filming music videos, which, yeah, fair enough, that's not a long time, but they've definitely taken heavy metal and have given it a much needed modern take.
Tweak.
It's
I agree. I froth that band, and I think even their older stuff was great. And
their older stuff's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new stuff.
The new stuff is a new level. So it's there's a lot more happening. There's new members, there's new instruments that you haven't heard before, and there's a lot of stuff going on in these new clips and these new songs, and I'm really excited for that stuff to come out. So
cool. And to wrap up, I'll probably say, like, is there anyone that we should check out on YouTube or Instagram, or another photographer or videographer you'd like to share with us that you think is like really on the money,
doing
or
really
an artist or
work.
something like that?
I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube. So some of the early guys that I watched on YouTube that I learned a lot of stuff from, my guy, my boy Josh Olufemi. His channel is Olufemi. You guys can probably link that somewhere. I learned a lot of stuff early on from him. We've actually got a video up on his channel, funnily enough, a tutorial video. But really good channel for learning. Another dude that I learned a lot of stuff from, who a lot of you might know, is Jacob Owens.
Right.
And he does a lot of tutorials, gives out a lot of free information, but he also did some really cool videos on like his business, I guess. Not so much like a filmmaking tutorial, but more just how he started, how he got his business to where it was, the sort of grueling process that a lot of us go through. And he just articulated it very well. And I watched that video maybe 18 months or 2 years ago. And it really inspired me to get a little bit more business savvy, because, I was just a guy who was shooting videos. I still am just a guy who's shooting videos. But hearing someone talk in depth about like their journey from like buying their first camera to every sort of step that they took was really inspirational. So that guy, Jacob Owens, I think his channel's called The Buff Nerds.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a lot of good value on that channel too. And when I was starting, I got a lot of really good value from that dude. So also sells some really cool products. So yeah.
Kurt, you got anybody?
No one this week.
No.
Yeah, I'm still. I was a little bit skeptical of Peter McKinnon at first, but the more and more I watched, the more I could see how much he's advanced or changed over the X amount of years. And it's respect to that guy. From being a small dude to now, I've seen his latest studio tour, and it excites me to see how far he's got, but also 10 years deep. So I'd love to see where I am 10 years deep and just take a bit of a look back.
Yeah. No, he's cool as. Yeah. A lot of those guys, man, they're all awesome. They're all super inspirational. Started watching a lot of those guys early on. And they were really cool. Another guy, side note, dude from the States, YC Imaging. really cool guy. Shot music videos, did vlogs and stuff like that. Again, super inspirational for me because, you know, he was just, sort of like almost like a one-man band setup was how he started shooting these clips, and just like his journey to sort of, you know, doing bigger budget clips, and just kind of his process, you know, it was sort of inspirational because I think like when I started, you know, doing this, it was, you know, it's daunting because you think, you think about all the moving parts that go into doing a production company or making a music video or whatever it is, and you get a little bit overwhelmed. But then sort of seeing smaller guys like him that are doing such a fantastic job, and seeing like their process over the years and their growth, you're like, yo, I can do this. And yeah, it was inspirational. So I think he's really good too. Does a lot of tutorials, has cool products. Learn a lot of really good value stuff from him. So yeah, he's a cool guy too.
Yeah, cool. For me, it's probably Matthew Diavella. I think that's how you say it. But he's sort of like a modern, simplistic kind of guy. Talks about business and life. I've been actually watching a lot of stuff about coffee because I want to really learn how to make good coffee. I'm failing miserably at it.
I'm a second for that. Whatever you find, please share with me because I've been making coffee and it is terrible. So I would love to be better at that.
Yeah, so I've been sort of looking into that, which has brought up some cool videos in terms of like, but yeah, his stuff is all like, you know, it's about business, about simplifying your life, about streamlining it, you know, knowing what you need versus, you know, what you shouldn't and things like that. And I think it's just super interesting, good for life positivity and decluttering, I think.
Cool.
Which is cool. But yeah, I think that's it from us today. Some awesome stuff there, some wicked tips, just awesome some banter is the word I'm looking for. Some awesome banter. But yeah, Colin, tell us where the people can find you.
Yeah, so my website is Colin Jeffs Media. That kind of links to all of my creative works and my wedding films. If you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find my personal, which kind of just has a mix of everything that I do, which is Colin_Jeffs. The Ten of Swords specific stuff, which is a lot of the more moody, grungy, gritty, dark music video type stuff. That is at Ten of Swords Media, I'm pretty sure. And the wedding films is at CJ Wedding Films. I should know that off the top of my head. Yeah, not many weddings happening this year. Unfortunately, a lot of them have been pushed back to next year. So please.
Next year, though.
Yeah, gonna be busy. Gonna be a big year for weddings next year. So, but yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No
it's
problems,
cool.
not at all. Thanks for joining us.
No,
Kurt,
it's been great to have you. Yeah, it's been great to have you aboard, and really appreciate all your input and, you know, your willingness to sit down and chat with us. We really appreciate it. So
yeah,
thanks,
yeah,
man.
thank you.
Kurt, where can they find you?
Kurtogram. That's it. Just type it anywhere. Apparently, it's some engineering term that I only discovered recently, but you know, at Kurtogram might work better than just Kurtogram. So
Yeah, nice.
What about you, Ash?
You can find me at Ash T Jackson. That's where most of my stuff lies, on Facebook, Instagram, and my website. You can follow my brand at Hidden Visions Co. And follow us on YouTube. Basically, like, subscribe, comment, do all those good things. I'm not even looking at the camera, but yeah.
We've been watching Kurt, so Kurt's down here
the whole time. Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you follow us on YouTube. It's on Kurt's channel, so like, subscribe. We're going to be up on Spotify and Apple and all those good things pretty soon. We're still learning, so shouts out to Kurt for doing all the hard work and heavy lifting. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment,
we'll get it
leave some stuff below, and we will catch you on the next episode, and we'll see you guys soon.